Hi, Cannabeard Grows here. How are you doing today? I hope you're well. Today I'm going to teach you how I do my compost tea or worm tea or jet fuel for your plants, if you will. I'm going to show you my method, what I do, and maybe you can utilize what I'm doing at home for yourself or make some variation of it yourself. I don't try to teach people like a specific plan, do exactly what I do, just, maybe absorb what I'm saying and do your own thing. Anyway, with that being said, don't forget to like this video if you do like it. If you like this kinds of content, make sure you're subscribed. Let's get on to the tea. It's tea time, baby. Motherfucking tea. Alrighty, this is my basic setup. I did say basic, and it looks a little complicated, but I assure you, I'm only trying to show you options. All you need for compost tea, or worm casting tea, if you will, is pH balanced water, worm castings, some sort of, you don't even need a bag, but a bag really helps. You can use you can sieve your slurry afterwards if you want to run it through a strainer, if you want a cleaner product to water your plants for whatever reason. But at the same time, the slush or the leftover pulp after you're done making your tea bag, if you will, is absolutely amazing top dressing. So don't throw that away. Speaking of don't throwing it away, this is a recycled bag. And when I say recycled, I mean I already used it a bunch of times. This has probably been our third time or something like that. It's pretty dirty on the inside. No big deal. If you get a good burlap sack, bags like that with a good drawstring or something like that, you can use them over and over and over again. Quite often. Just wash them out, use it again. Alrighty, so as I was saying earlier, don't let the variety here spook you. All you really need is, honestly, water, worm castings, and a sugar source. A really good option is organic unsulfured molasses. I highly recommend kind of like mixing it into the water, maybe even use a little bit of warm water to mix it in so that it's kind of like a mix, so that you're not just pouring a big slug right into your mix and hoping that the microbes get it. They will get it, but I find this just distributes it into the water column a lot easier. I've seen a lot of people just pour molasses straight into their mix, and I highly prefer pre-mixing it a little bit ahead of time. At any rate, this is essentially what I do for my mix. Now, as I was saying, you can custom add extra things to sort of tailor it for more of a veg cycle or more of a flower cycle, or you don't even need to do that at all. You really don't. It's an extra thing that you can do. So I'm just going to take an exact amount of worm castings, i.e. whatever I can kind of scoop off this thing here, probably about a cup, I don't know, whatever. We're going to pour that in there to start with. Now I've got some, what's that? Rabbit poop. Yeah, it's rabbit poop. Rabbit poop. I'll actually put the numbers, right here on screen. But their NPK value is amazing, and they're not a hot fertilizer, meaning you can actually use them directly out of the bunny's butt straight in your garden, and there's absolutely no problems with that. You don't have to wait for it to cook down like you do with a lot of other fertilizers, animal fertilizers. It's gonna take, like, I don't know, a little bit, half a tablespoon worth of kelp meal. Just get some in there. It's good for it. Now, everything in my garden right now currently is in veg mode, so I'm not going to use this, but I wanted to bring it out and just show you anyway. You could just put like a little scoop of this in if you wanted to help sort of boost some of the blooming stuff. But for me, I'm going with just a little bit. Again, highly unnecessary. This is just me, but I'm going to take a good scoop. Let's take a good size scoop here. And then sprinkle that right in there like that. Boom. Now it just adds a little bit more diversity to the tea itself. Now this tea is still feeling a little bit light, so we're going to top it off with more worm castings here. Another pretty healthy scoop of worm castings right there. There, and that's pretty darn good, to be honest. That's feeling, like that's almost the whole bag right there. That's a good amount. It's not totally compact or anything like that. It's weird. I can actually feel all those rabbit poops in the middle. It reminds me of those horrible cigarettes with the thing that you break in the middle and then it becomes a frickin', mint cigarette or something. Ew. Not that I smoke cigarettes or anything. I just know what they are. Yeah. Cigarettes are gross. Don't smoke them. Now, before I zip that up, oh, falling over. I'm almost out of molasses. But before I zip that up, I'm going to show you one more thing that I tend to do. Alrighty, first thing you're going to need is a bucket of clean, pH'd, dechlorinated water. We're sitting at about 6.4, 6.3, 6.3, somewhere in there. For organics, anywhere in the mid-6s is pretty friggin' good. Some of the microbes tend to like it a little bit in the high 6s, but mid-6 is probably a good goal just for the basics. Now, one of the things we're going to need for this water, we're going to need an air bubbler. An air bubbler can actually assist in the dechlorinization process. I also highly recommend either doing this outdoors on something or putting a big plant saucer underneath it, because these things tend to, if you do it right, they tend to foam up and sometimes even leak over the sides and make a little bit of a mess. And that's okay. That's actually really good. If you've got one doing that, that means you've got a really, really healthy batch. Anyway, I just use one of these things. It's like a fish weighted bubble wand thing. I find it gives good coverage and half decent micro bubbles. So yeah, let's show you what this thing does. I'm going to plug it in here. Not the most amazing, but pretty darn good. Another thing I will say too is do not cheap out on an air pump. Get yourself a good, strong air pump, something that looks kind of like this with a little valve system. Those little tiny fish tank air pumps just do not have the force that's needed for this, not even close. Anyway, that can aerate and stuff and do its thing. We can just sort of droop our tea bag in the middle and it will brew. Okay, so I tend to take a second hose and run another air stone, and I put this air stone inside. We stuff it down into the bag, kind of down into the middle / the bottom, somewhere like that. And then I tie this up there like that, and then now we got something to use this top string. I'm going to wrap it around once here, but you can use this top string to dangle the bag. That's sort of the idea, right? I'm going to give it a double knot here because I want a short string for starters, and it helps make sure that the bag doesn't leak or anything like that. Now, ideally, honestly, something super simple is just get a stick with a twist tie on it or something like that, and then just grab these two loops here, one here. Just like that. There. Now we got a tea bag, baby. And then, just like that, it can sit in the water, but not totally sink into the water. Now, an interesting fact here is, when I turn this on, I'm going to show you, but if I have the air stone inside on full blast, the bag tends to float. So a good idea is to put the air stone that's in the bag on maybe like half or something. You want a little bit of air to make sure that the bag doesn't get stagnant and that things move and flow through the bag. But you don't want it bubbling so crazy that it's just floating at the surface and there isn't water running through everything. So for right now, I have it turned completely off. 1 second, I'm going to plug it in. There. Obviously, it's plugged in and going. Now, as I said, the bag has not been turned on yet. When I turn on the bag, it generally tends to change the color quite a bit. Pretty fast, actually. Yeah, not fast, but there we go. Now, if you really, really wanted to get in there, you could grab the bag and give it a little squeeze like this first and just make sure that it's nice and sopped up and got lots of good water in it, like that. Then we're going to add that molasses and water mixture. That's sugars to feed the microbes, to make sure the microbes breed, spread, and love life. I have to leave a little bit of water in there to slush out that last little bit there for a minute. And then if you really, really want to give your stuff a boost, get yourself a bottle of microbes. This is what I've been using this last couple of seasons here. But yeah, just get yourself some concentrated microbes in a bottle here. Give it a good shake first. And then once again, a very exact measurement, you know, squirt, kind of like that, whatever, sure. That looks about right, I don't know. Just put a dash in there and it should be darn good. Now, that's it. All you need to do now is wait 24 hours. Now, I try to tend to center the tea bag, kind of right in the dead center like that, which is why I use one of those sticks like that. And if you've got the option to do so, cover it like that. It's not completely covered, like airtight. Obviously, it's just a garbage can lid half leaning on the thing. But that'll just keep debris from floating into it and whatever, and just let it do its thing. Warmth is key. You kind of can't do this outdoors in the winter for rather obvious reasons. You want the water to be a pretty lukewarm room temperature kind of. I'll put the actual exact up on here before I freaking just start running my mouth. I'm going to put the exact temperature range up on here like that. That's the temperature range that they like. So if you're running this stuff indoors, you can just get yourself a little heat mat for seedlings or something and put it underneath there, or an aquarium heater and stick it in there and set it to where you want. Those options both work pretty darn good. Now, all you gotta do is let this bubble, aerate, froth, do its thing here for 24 hours. And I'll come back and show you here in 24 hours. So tomorrow, well, for you it'll be just like a couple of seconds here, but I'll show you in a moment here what 24 hours of bubbling does. And then I'm going to feed this to all my plants. And then again, you can use the contents of the bag as sort of a top dressing, but just make sure you use it right away. Don't let this sit around for a long time after you're done brewing it. The aeration creates an aerobic area, and if it goes anaerobic, which means no oxygen, the pathogens and the microbes and everything start to die in there, and then you got like death soup instead of frickin' life soup. So make sure you use the stuff right away. I wouldn't want to leave it without aeration for honestly more than a couple hours, and the microbes are going to start dying off. But yeah, look at how happy that froth is already. It's only been a few minutes. Ooh, it's going to be a good batch of tea. Good batch of tea. I pity the fool that don't get down with compost tea. Anyway, let's see what 24 hours will do. Just like that. Hi again. Day 2, here we are. Nice muggy little day out here. It's perfect kind of weather to get a whole bunch of gardening done. Awesome day, awesome day. Anyway, enough about the day. Let's have a look at how the tea's been brewing, shall we? All right, so here we go. This has been sitting here overnight and just bubbling away with the lid on it here. And let's have a little peekaboo at what's been happening. Oh, ooh, it's getting close to going over. This is actually why right here. This is why I was saying to have either a drip tray underneath it or do it outside or something like that, because this is ready to go. Look at that. So there's the tea bag in there. That is pretty microbial healthy from what I understand. The foam is a good thing. Now again, I'm not a scientist, so I don't really know exactly what's been going on here, but from again my understandings of what's been happening here is it sort of activates all of the nutrients and stuff, and the available nutrients that are within the worm castings and the top dressings and stuff we put in there. The microbes will eat it and sort of make it more, do whatever they do to make it biologically available very fast, because we give them an insanely beneficial environment to do such a thing, with tons of oxygen, tons of sugars for them to just go bananas and go crazy, which is, as you can see, exactly what they're doing. So is what you can kind of do it. It's kind of gross almost. Oh, it's slimy. Ew. Yeah, that's good gunk right there. Anyway, you can just give this thing a good squeeze, and you can kind of like, you can rinse it all off if you really wanted to. But I would take about 50-50 on this. This canister here takes about 2 gallons. This is 1 gallon. So I would do something like, I don't think I can put that in there, pour that in like that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to tip it, I think. Yeah, like this. Oh yeah. Oh god, that's heavy. But there we go. Here's the color of the tea, very dark. Now, like I said, I'll just pour this in here. And then we're going to top this off with water, and it's ready to go. Like that. Unlock the camera a little bit. There we go. You can see what's going on. There we go. I've got another bin here full of water that's been pH'd and sitting for a little while. It's the same water I used yesterday to actually make this tea. And like I said, we just do about a 1-to-1 is probably a good ratio. I got a lot of plants to go through here, so there we go. It's as full as she's gonna go, and that's some beautiful ready to go nutrients for the plants. Some of it will take a little bit longer to release still, and some of it is immediately bioavailable right now. And plus, you're biopacking the soil with tons of active microbes, which helps break down everything in the soil anyway. So if you're doing organics, this stuff is your really good friend. If you're using salts, teas are probably not for you. Yeah, I don't know what else I can really talk about with this, other than, you take this and you pour it on your plants as you would regularly with your watering. Maybe spread it around a little bit more. Yeah, that's about it. Oh, and one last thing I almost forgot actually in post recording of this that I remembered just now to tell you. Only feed this to your plants about once every 2 weeks. This is kind of a lot for your plants to uptake, and it's you'll see some massive growth spurts almost immediately after feeding them. But don't do this too often. About once every 2 weeks seems to be a fairly sweet spot. You can go once a month or whatever when you're doing a nutrient changeover or whatever you want, but just not too often. Cheers. Awesome. So thank you for hanging out with me here today. I hope you enjoyed this little episode. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. If you really enjoyed this in any shape or form, want to see a little bit more, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. And when you're doing that, please, I hate to keep telling you things to do here, but double check that you're hitting all notifications. Set it for all, not custom, not none, all notifications, because I do mostly live streams. And trust me, you want to be part of those. They're fun. Anyway, I'll catch you on the next live stream. Cheers.